Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into the latest filing from ABVC BioPharma, and let me tell you, it's a bit of a roller coaster. This company makes plant-based drugs and medical devices, but are their financials as healthy as the ingredients they use? We are going to break this down, and if you stick around, you will know what you need to know. Before we get started, if you are the kind of person who likes to know what's going on with companies and you want the knowledge without all the hassle, make sure you subscribe. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. Let's decode this thing. First off, this filing is a post-effective amendment, which is like a company making revisions to a registration statement they've already filed with the SEC. Basically, they're updating information. What we are focusing on today is the financial statements, as those are the most important aspect of these reports, and the details will reveal what it means. Now, this filing is amendment number 4, and it is used to include information from their quarterly report, or Form 10Q, for the period ending March 31, 2025, and their annual report, or Form 10K, for the year ending December 31, 2009, and their annual report, or Form 10K, for the year ending December 31, 2024. In essence, they are trying to keep the information fresh and in compliance with regulations. No additional securities are being registered. Here's the deal. This prospectus is about reselling shares of common stock. No proceeds from these sales are actually going to ABVC. The selling stockholders, which are basically folks like investment funds who own a big chunk of ABVC, get to sell their shares to the public. This includes shares that could be issued if certain notes are converted or warrants get exercised. Let's talk about the company itself. ABVC BioPharma is traded on the Nasdaq Capital Markets under the ticker symbol ABVC. As of May 14, 2025, the stock closed at 126 cents per share. That's your snapshot of where things stand with ABVC on the stock market. ABVC BioPharma is striving to be a pioneer, a leader in the biopharmaceutical industry, working on botanical drugs for central nervous system and oncology diseases. They work on drugs and medical devices, tracking new medical discoveries and licensing promising candidates. Currently, they're partnering with institutions like Stanford, UCSF, and Cedars-Sinai Medical Center to conduct Phase 2 clinical trials. They've completed a Phase 2 trial for ABV1504 for major depressive disorder and are in the midst of a Phase 2 trial for ABV1504 for adult ADHD. These things take money, and they will have to figure that out. Alright, let's take a peek under the hood. ABVC BioPharma has a bunch of subsidiaries. We have Prevision, BioLate Holding, BioKey, Cayman, and BioKey. It's a whole ecosystem working together. But keep in mind, as of March 5, 2022, they changed the bylaws to remove cumulative voting for directors are elected by a simple plurality of votes. Here's where things get a little dicey. ABVC has been notified by Nasdaq that they don't meet certain listing requirements. Specifically, they haven't maintained the minimum bid price of 1.00 cents per share. They were given until October 21, 2025 to get their act together, and the stock must hit $1 for at least 10 consecutive trading. Fixer are walking a tightrope to avoid getting kicked off the Nasdaq. They were given until October 10V as the annual walking a tightrope to avoid getting kicked off the Nasdaq. They were given until October to avoid getting kicked off the Nasdaq. They were given until October 21, 2025 to fix this. Luckily, on May 5, 2025, the company received a notification letter. The notification letter from Nasdaq notifying the company that the staff has determined that based on the company's quarterly report on Form 10Q for the quarter ended March 31, 2020, for the quarter ended March 31, 2025, which evidenced stockholders' equity of 720,290 is closed with the listing rule, and the matter is closed. Now, for their strategy, ABVC is focusing on advancing ABV1701 Vitagus, which is a medical device, to the pivotal trial phase. They're also looking to license ABV15 plan is to get through Phase 2 trials and then partner with big pharma companies to take things to Phase 3 and hopefully commercialization. But as with any biotech company, there are risks. Here are some. They've never generated revenue, clinical trials are expensive and uncertain, and they depend on third parties for manufacturing and trials. Also, they're competing against big players with a lot more resources. In other words, it's a tough market. Alright, let's get into the financials. First up, the consolidated balance sheets. As of December 31, 2024, their total assets are around $7.8 million. And as of December 31, 2023, are around $7.8 million, so they are remaining about the same. Digging a little bit, we see that they are actually struggling with money problems. Their working capital is in the negative. Let's talk about which type of file this is. Basically, how big the company is. The size is important for a multitude of reasons. The company reports that they are non-accelerated filer. What does that mean? Basically, it means that the SEC wants less from them. They don't need to get an auditor to vouch for their internal controls, saving them a load of hassle. Next, we have the consolidated statements of operations. In 2024, ABVC had a loss from operations of about $4.7 million, and we can see how that stacks up to before. Loss from operations for 2023 was around $6.8 million, which is about 30% lower. So this is telling us is that their fundamentals as a business are still in the negative, but it's trending in the right direction. Now, this isn't going to shock people at this phase of the business, so it is not a big deal on its own. What is the most important aspect of these reports, though? It's the cash. How does the company pay people? Looking at the cash flow statements, you can see that in 2024, ABVC burned through about $1.8 million and operating activities. This is where they spend money on things like research and development, paying employees and keeping the lights on. That is a 57% decrease from 2023. So again, we are seeing a better direction, but still a cash burn. The company mainly has operations in Taiwan and therefore adopted a pension fund as the local law mandates. However, their workforce remains at 19 and are spending minimal amounts on traditional company activities. Let's review other things that they are spending money on. This is a doozy. The developments in patent law risk factor highlights that the rules around getting and keeping patents are changing, which could allow competitors to swoop in and use ABVC's discoveries without any compensation or limit the number of patents ABVC can even get. That's a major downside in the drug development game. And there's more, because a big chunk of their work is done outside the US. They are exposed to political instability and trade regulations. The common stock section contains warnings that the trading price of ABVC stock could be volatile and unpredictable. Now, to look at their income statement at a higher level, their revenue comes into $0, which is 100% down year over year, indicating more difficulty with their core activities. Finally, let's get an overall sense of what the management themselves are feeling in the special note regarding forward-looking statement section, which has a high-risk disclaimer and is basically saying, hey, all the good stuff we're talking about, it might not happen. The company has given the power to its board to do a bunch of things like issue stock without asking shareholders. Alright, let's step back and put all of this together. ABVC BioPharma is a small company with some compelling technology, but it's facing significant challenges. They're still in the development stage, burning cash and navigating a complex regulatory landscape. I also have a concern as they have a lot of agreements with parties related to them. I hope that the SEC will get involved and take a better look. On the upside, they have strong partnerships with renowned institutions and some promising candidates in their pipeline. But on the downside, they need to be careful about managing their spending and avoiding getting delisted from the Nasdaq. For investors, ABVC is a high-risk, high-reward play. The potential for groundbreaking drugs is there, but so is the risk of failure. If you decide to invest, buckle up for a volatile ride. What do you think of ABVC BioPharma? Are they a future player in the biopharmaceutical industry, or is it too risky of a bet? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more straight shooting corporate analysis. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description below. See you next time.